Good morning. Whoever you are, however you identify, whomever you love, and wherever you are on your own spiritual journey, for this next hour, you are part of this congregation, and we are very happy to have you with us. And welcome to those of you who are joining us on Zoom. We gratefully acknowledge the Patuxet Wampanoag people on whose ancestral lands we gather today. We commit to support and honor their history and culture. My name is Donna Savicki. My pronouns are she and her, and I am your worship associate this morning. You'd think after all these years it wouldn't bother me, but I do have stage fright, so I hope you'll bear with me. I am very pleased to be in the pulpit today with Reverend Joe Murphy, our guest minister. Dara has the Sunday off. After the service, everyone is invited to join us for coffee, tea, and refreshments in the assembly hall, which can be reached by going through the door to my left. If you're new or relatively new, hope you'll take a red mug. You don't have to, but if you do, we'd love to give you a warm First Parish welcome. I'd like to extend our thanks to Shirley Jenkins for the beautiful flowers this morning, and to Kathy and Jay Bray for serving as our ushers and chalice lighters. I have a few announcements. Tonight is dinner church featuring a meal prepared by Reverend Dara, followed by a worship service. Everyone is invited. Tuesday, Dara will lead a Vesper service in the chapel downstairs, but you can also attend via Zoom. The link is in last Thursday's email. And next Sunday after the service, there will be a craft workshop where children of all ages, including us, can make moss gardens and sock puppets. I have also, there is the Sisters of St. Margaret are holding a Martin Luther King prayer service. Yeah, I told you this. Yes, so January 19th, tomorrow, Sisters of St. Margaret at 7 p.m. in the chapel. Dr. King's words will feature in the prayers. And they have recommended a service. The Interfaith Council, Duxbury Interfaith Council, is not holding a Martin Luther King service this year, but they hope that everybody will engage in a day of service, at least one day. I think most of us qualify. They have suggested, if you're lacking ideas, that you sign up to pack meals with End Hunger NE on MLK Day or at a different day. So this information will be at the social justice table during coffee hour. Also like to bring your attention to a program that we encourage everyone to participate in to the extent that you're able. It's it can get pretty time consuming, but you can do as little or as much as fits your schedule and your disposition. It's called 30 Days of Love, offered by the UUA. And there will also be information about that. Again, there are, I think, daily prayers, meditations, reading, and Jean will have more information for you about that at the social justice table. Let's see. Oh, yes. I have been asked to announce that if you have not yet been able to make a donation to our Share the Plate for the Brain Aneurysm Foundation, there's still time. You just make a check payable to First Parish Church, leave it in the office, put Brain Aneurysm Foundation in the note section, and it will be combined with all of our gifts and sent off to them. And now to our guest minister. Reverend Joe Murphy has served as the executive director of UU Mass Action since 2021, where with passion and zest, and I can attest to that, I was on the board when Joe joined UU Mass Action, she mobilizes and organizes with many UU Mass Action campaigns. I encourage you to go to UU Mass Action's website to learn more about the important work they're doing. And I don't want to take time here to go through it, but they have a number of very, very important campaigns, and this is our faith in action in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Jo is also kept busy as a chaplain at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, where she's going right after this, in Boston, and also kept quite busy caring for her 1-year-old daughter. Jo loves liberation, the ocean, and a fine chicken dinner. But Jo, I hope you'll settle for coffee and fruit and very delicious pastries later with us at coffee hour. Jo will be able to stay with us for a bit at coffee hour if you want to talk to her more. So now, I believe, I turn it over to you for the opening words. Thank you.
Good morning. Before I do the opening words, if you are interested in getting to know UMass Action more, I will have interest cards that you can fill out, and we will deliver a newsletter right to your inbox. Welcome into this space. Let us remind ourselves that not only is this space a sanctuary, but we hold sanctuary between, amongst, and within us. Let us feel these many sanctuaries as heartbeats, and let them be sanctuaries of love, of action, of worship. Let us worship. For our opening hymn, the soul singers will be providing harmony and will come up to the front. And please rise as you are willing and able in singing hymn number 169, We Shall Overcome.
Let this flame be to us the symbol of the wholeness we seek.
Its brightness dispelling gloom, lighting a path to faith and hope.
Its glow reminding us of the sacred bonds that link us to all living things.
Its radiance calling us to cast the light of freedom, justice, and peace on the whole world.
It's time to sing the children out, is that right? Elaine, could you start us off, please? Oh, Ed. Okay, thank you. This little light of Each week, we lift up the joys and concerns we carry with us into the sanctuary, recognizing that a joy shared in loving community is joy amplified, and in sharing our concerns with one another, we lay these burdens down to be held, even if only for a moment, by this community. For those joining us online, we ask that you email Reverend Dara by Saturday night prior to the service, and she'll read your joys and concerns aloud. I don't see any in the basket, so I am just going to light the candles myself. Joys in your heart that are unspoken. Light this candle. For the sorrows and concerns in your heart that are unspoken. Light this candle. For your concerns for the world, I light the candles. Goodness knows.
A poem. Therapy by Nahira Waheed. The hard season will split you through, but do not worry, you will bleed water. Do not worry, this is grief. Your face will fall out and down your skin, and there will be scorching. But do not worry. Keep speaking the years from their hiding places. Keep coughing up smoke from all the deaths you have died. Keep the rage tender, because the soft season will come. It will come loud, ready, gulping, both hands in your chest, up all night, up all of the nights, to drink all damage into love. Let us all breathe in, opening our hearts to the hard times and the times that will come after. Let us breathe in, imagining our hearts growing and growing, letting not only more love in, but more capacity to give and receive. Let us breathe in to receive. Let us breathe out to give. Let us breathe in to receive. Let us breathe out to give. Let us breathe in to receive and out to give, to drink damage into love. Let us hold in our hearts all the prayers unspoken today, the joys, the concerns, and let us send them love. Let them be received here with love. Breathing in to receive and out to give. Our reading this morning is the poem Perhaps the World Ends Here by Joy Harjo. We have a recording in which Joy herself will be reciting.
Perhaps the world ends here. The world begins at a kitchen table. No matter what, we must eat to live. The gifts of earth are brought and prepared, set on the table. So it has been since creation, and it will go on. We chase chickens or dogs away from it. Babies teethe at the corners. They scrape their knees under it. It is here that children are given instructions on what it means to be human. We make men at it. We make women. At this table we gossip, recall enemies and the ghosts of lovers. Our dreams drink coffee with us as they put their arms around our children. They laugh with us at our poor, falling down selves, and as we put ourselves back together once again at the table. This table has been a house in the rain, an umbrella in the sun. Wars have begun and ended at this table. It is a place to hide in the shadow of terror, a place to celebrate the terrible victory. We have given birth on this table and have prepared our parents for burial here. At this table we sing with joy or sorrow. We pray of suffering and remorse. We give thanks. Perhaps the world will end at the kitchen table while we are laughing and crying, eating at the last sweet bite.
I'd just like to add that Joy Harjo was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. She's a member of the Muskogee Creek Nation. She's a critically acclaimed poet, a noted teacher, saxophonist, and vocalist. She was named U.S. Poet Laureate in June 2019. Harjo's works are deeply concerned with politics, tradition, remembrance, and the transformational aspects of poetry. You can find out all about her on the Poetry Foundation's website. And now, if Kathy and Jay will come forward to gather the offertory. Thank you very much for your generosity to First Parish Church.
In remote forest in Madagascar, there is an orchid that is star-shaped, a delicate branching of white petals called the star of the forest. You may think her name comes from her shape, but she is also the star of the forest because she grows in complete darkness. This isn't just a survival technique for her, she thrives in darkness. The orchid gets nutrients from underground fungus, does not have chlorophyll for photosynthesis, but cuts through the dirt every so often to attract pollinators, such as ants. I love reading about this orchid. I love knowing that there is thriving in darkness. The orchid for me is a reminder about the ability for life to survive and thrive in unexpected places. In dark forest floors that, though are threatened by the destruction of our earth, for now host orchids. Beautiful, thriving orchids that live happily and healthily in the dark. I think we are all in need of the possibility that exists within these thriving orchids. As fascism rages on, hatred grows, and violence surges, I urge you to take a breath and imagine those orchids growing healthily and happily in the darkness of the forest. In my work as a leader of the organization UU Mass Action, working alongside organizers on legislation and advocacy change in the areas of climate, environmental, indigenous, immigration, economic justice, and decarceration. I'm sure things will shift, but honestly, most of our justice work has remained the same. It just becomes more urgent. I'm wondering if during this time, we, not as individuals, but not as congregations, but as a faith, as Unitarian Universalists who exist all over the globe, will decide that we want a better world, and we will fight for it like we never have before. I hope this is not our chance to not only fight fascism and the injustice this current administration brings, but to finally change the status quo, to bring down our systems of harm, to craft and create a worldwide community of care. In these movement spaces doing this work, I find myself standing in that awkward space of not being very hopeful, but having hope for the possibility of hope. I know that people have the capacity to do better, even when I've seen again and again and again, we do not always act on this capacity. When thinking about what blocks my ability to move from having hope and hope to just hope, I think about my ability to grieve. I believe that if we take time and space to grieve and be in grieving, we will have a greater capacity for joy, delight, and we need these things to continue on in our lives, in our movement spaces, to remember why we fight. Many, many summers ago, Joni Mitchell, who is now in her 80s, made a surprise guest appearance at the Newport Folk Festival. She sang Both Sides Now with Brandi Carlile. This is a haunting, definitely sad-sounding song. And when I watched the video, I did not weep, I sobbed. I'm sure many of you have experienced music, art, lyrics, moments that feel that they are breaking you open. I think the song, both for me in its melody and lyrics, about knowing life and realizing you don't at all, and that's okay. I know that during this time in our world, also singing is regulating. And I also know that it is one thing to talk about, but it is different and needed to do. Do people know the song Both Sides Now? All right, so we're just gonna sing a part of it, and just please join in wherever. Rows and flows of angel hair, and ice cream castles in the air, and feather canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in the way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's cloud illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, the dizzy dancing way you feel as every fairy tale comes true. I've looked at love that way. I've looked at love from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know love at all. Thank you. Part of me sobbing in this moment was due to beauty, part loving Joni Mitchell and hearing her still singing, and part of it was I just needed to cry. I was reminded of the Adrienne Marie Brown quote, "Remember, you are water. Of course you leave salt trails. Of course you are crying." In a sermon about despair written in 2019, the Reverend Victoria Safford responds to the despair and grief people were feeling at the time. She says, "Time is not an arrow. Time is not an arrow shot from the bow at the beginning, propelling history inevitably in one doomed direction. It is not. There are no straight lines in this round world, no guarantees, and seasons change and movements grow. Hearts beat on, and all things like water ebb and flow. Despair can give way to resistance if you voice it in community. Grief can become resilience if you honor the weight of it and let others help you bear it. Cynicism can be melted, grim certainty unrusted. Apathy can wake up if the music is loud and strong enough. In this time in our history when violence rages on, wars begin and continue, our climate feels on edge, if not already in the midst of disaster, there is reason for despair. There is reason for despair, grief, cynicism, apathy. And it is one thing to talk about melting cynicism, having despair give way to resistance and resilience. But how does this all come about? How are we not consumed by despair? How do we carve and make room for the hope, joy, and delight that make our world and our survival worthwhile and beautiful? And what about rage? What about anger? A quote from Marshall Rosenberg, who writes about nonviolent communication: "I see all anger as a life-threat alienating, violence-provoking thinking. At the core of all anger is a need that is not being fulfilled. Thus, anger can be valuable if we use it as an alarm clock to wake up, to realize we have a need that isn't being met, that we are thinking in a way that makes it unlikely to be met. Use anger as a wake-up call." And what a great wake-up call. It's a strong emotion that will certainly get you up in the morning. And let this anger, let it wake you, but don't let it put you to sleep. Find ways in your days to channel it, use it for justice, to create spaces where your joy and other joy is safe. Use your anger to fight, but don't fight the same way others are fighting. Fight to create spaces where people have resources, where people can have joy, where people are protected. No one gets our joy, and we have the power, tools, and resources to connect our communities, to protect them, to protect our loved ones. Let anger get you to the place of building, and let yourself feel a joy that fascism, violence, and capitalism doesn't want you to have. My recipe for not being consumed by our emotions and rage is threefold. First, don't forget your people. Gather them, cook for them, care for them, love them in all the ways, and let yourself be gathered. Let people gather you. Let them cook for you, love you. Gather your people, be gathered, and let yourself cry. Let yourself grieve. And finally, after being gathered and after grieving, this is when we remind ourselves why we survive. This is the part where we dance, we eat the food we have cooked, we sing, we remember that our survival is beautiful. Do not forget your people, let yourself cry and grieve. Remember why we want to survive. Often before I board a plane, I text many people. I then turn my phone on airplane mode so that when I land, my phone starts dinging and it fills up with text, messages from people I love and who love me. Do silly things like this. Remind people that you love them. Open yourself to being reminded of all those who love you. Be with people and remember that life wants life. Next, we let go of the despair and let our bodies, our hearts grieve. Once the people have been gathered, fed, and loved, let the grief be felt, let the tears fall. Adrienne Marine Brown tells us again that remember, you are water, of course you are crying. Tears that are not the pain themselves, but a release of the pain, a sign of the pain, a physical representation of grief. As a leader and a minister, part of accepting the grief is necessary to staying in the work, to staying connected to the world. Accepting grief is part of avoiding the despair. Not only do we need to grieve, we are grieving in the midst of so many losses and circumstances that persist, that continue, both personal and in the world. We are tired of making decisions that are not flippant decisions, but that relate to our survival. We are tired of living through uprising and seeing racism viciously persist. We are tired of violence building rather than diminishing. We are tired of war and of hatred being acted upon by occupation, by violence. We are tired of violence at our borders. We are tired of the violence that ICE brings to our community. We are tired of the violence at detention centers and prisons. We are tired of an earth that some seem to care about and others don't. We are tired. Of course we are crying. And as we gather and as we cry, let us remember that despair may be paralyzing, but grief doesn't have to be. In an article about eco-anxiety entitled, "How Can I Stay Hopeful as the World Burns?" Aisha Mirza interviews Robin Wall Kimmerer, author of the book Braiding Sweetgrass, Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teaching of Plants. Mirza asks Kimmerer how she stays hopeful, and she says, "The grief is heartbreaking. But what I try to do is to feel that deeply. Grief can paralyze us. It can bring us to despair and hopelessness. But when we recognize that the pain we are feeling is ecological compassion, it's love. It's love for a world that is strong and fierce and says, 'Not on my watch.'" The other day, I gave a similar sermon about grief, and I walked out of the church to find my daughter, who's 2 years old and was at the nursery. After I finished and shook a few hands, I came back to the chattering, coffee-laden air holding my daughter, Simone. Someone approached me and said, "You must be a lot more hopeful than you let on. You brought this beautiful being into the world." And I am. I am much more hopeful than I let on. Am I scared, grief-stricken, and angry too? Yes, but again, I believe in this world, and life wants life, and I do have hope for this broken world. I brought life into the world because I believe there is a great life for her to live. And so I gather my people, I let myself be gathered. I come home to a house where we cook meals for each other, sing, say grace. We think about the resources we need and the extra ones we can give. We set and create spaces so that there is room for when the tears come, they can be released. Where anger is welcome and you can scream as long as you don't wake the toddler. We sweep our floors and bake bread and lend each other cars. We make themed cocktails, bake cakes, and celebrate the life that is here, the life that is us. We gather, we cry, we celebrate our survival amidst it all. It is no joke to feel grief deeply, especially when there is so much to grieve. But I think it helps when we know that in part to grieve is to love. The last part of my recipe is to act on this love, to remember why we move, why we work to protect this world. For this part of the recipe, you do what you love. Experience joy and delight, dance, sing, go see art, go to the ocean, listen to something that makes you laugh. Remind yourself of why you love your life. And we are excellent at loving. Let that not go to waste. Our perhaps broken hearts certainly have a lot of territory to cover, but I have hope and knowledge that our hearts can cover it. I think it's going to take work, but not more work than we can handle. To want to survive in of itself is a beautiful thing. To want to survive in a broken world already on flames is also an even more beautiful thing, and perhaps this is at its core hope. Gather your people, let your tears flow, make music that is strong enough, that is loud enough. Let us leave salt trails of tears, but do not despair. Let us nurture our longing to survive. Let us remember why we fight, and let us remember this by creating and finding joy, by loving the people who have gathered us. Let us cry and grieve. Let us remember that our pain is love, and we've always had enough of that. Of course you are crying. Of course we are crying. Let the tears flow as reminders of how deeply we love each other and our world. Amen. If you would now join me in rising as you are willing and able in singing our final hymn, number 148, Let Freedom Span Both the East and the West.
extinguish the chalice, please? And we'll join them in reading the chalice extinguishing words printed in your order of service and on the screen.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of the community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Our benediction is from the works and writings of the activist Assata Shakur. She ended the poem with this: I believe in living, I believe in birth. I believe in the sweat of love and in the fire of truth. And I believe that a lost ship steered by tired, seasick sailors can still be guided home to port. Amen and blessed be.